Hello, everyone. Hi, Catherine.
Hello, Hilary.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank
How's
you.
your
And
Monday going?
it's nice to see you. My Monday is getting better for the chance to talk to you and to talk about
Likewise.
this project.
Yeah, we just wanted to hop on our channel, our East End United channel, and this is also going live to viewers of Break Into Song, which is my channel, to tell people about A Poet's Christmas, which is a really neat project that you and I have been working on together with Scott Pietrangelo and other colleagues and friends of ours at East End United. So it's coming up. It's going to be available soon, and there's a live event coming up that we want everyone to know about, and we wanted to just talk about it a little bit. So, Catherine, do you want to just talk a little bit about how we came up with this crazy scheme?
Well, I think that's more correctly explained as how you came up with this crazy scheme. So we were actually, the weather was still warm enough that we were on a rooftop patio at the time.
Yes.
And you actually pitched it as a crazy scheme, and it started out as a result of the work that you've been doing with your doctoral thesis on Benjamin Britten. And in the pursuit of Britten, you've come across some other interesting characters along the way, some noteworthy poets,
Yeah.
and in stumbling on the poets, found a BBC radio broadcast from 1944, Christmas Eve 1944, that was kind of at that point, a modern version of what we would think of as lessons and carols. And with the different lessons, or not, certainly not biblical lessons, but lessons from another context, and interspersed with carols. And essentially, as I recall, you said, so they did this really cool thing, and maybe we could do something that would be really cool too, that would be kind of like this thing. That's kind of how I remember the
That
conversation.
is exactly what I came to you with. Yeah, and that was the germ of the idea. So our Poets Christmas is inspired, yeah, by this one-off radio feature on the BBC, on the BBC Home Service, that took place, just like you said, Christmas Eve 1944. And I just want everybody to picture that scene. It's the fourth Christmas in wartime, or at least certainly the third, if not the fourth. And it ended up being the last Christmas Eve of the war, although of course no one knew at the time that it would be the last Christmas Eve of the war. And the sixth. Oh no.
War was declared September 1939. Yeah.
Right, of course, of course. So, the celebration of Christmas is changed forever by this point, and people don't know where the end might be and what life will look like on the other side. And that resonated so profoundly with me. And as did the idea of people gathering around the radio to listen to this uh, a remote broadcast of a meditation on Christmas. I wouldn't quite call it a celebration of Christmas, but rather a poetic and musical meditation on Christmas for 1944. And that idea that people were probably more isolated than they would be used to on Christmas, maybe not visiting family in the way that they had been before the war. Concerned about the future, concerned about where things might be going, not knowing what life would look like on the other side. I felt like so much resonated for me with our own experience of Christmas these last couple of years and even this year. And I was also inspired by wanting to be intentional about creating a remote or virtual way for us to mark Christmas this year, because there's so many reasons that we're excited to gather together in person, and I'm so glad that that is more available to us this year. But I think for a lot of people there's still a lot of caution attached to gathering in person, and I wanted to create something that would allow people to meditate on and mark and celebrate and think through Christmas from wherever they are. And that's what this is hoping to be.
I think for me, one of the things that's interesting about this project, and Hilary did say, it's not a celebration of Christmas. It's more introspective and it's more meditative, because in the same way that after 6 years of war, you feel very different than you did at the beginning of the war. I think about the difference between how people feel now, 2 years into the pandemic, compared to where we were at the beginning. At the beginning, as I recall, we were all running on adrenaline, right? We were all kind of adapting, and there was a scary energy, but there was an energy involved at the beginning of the pandemic. And now, as we're looking at our second Christmas, people are just worn out. And so to put forward a program that was, full of happy, joyful
Mirth.
noises would have felt very tone deaf and not and out of place with the what feels to us to be the collective zeitgeist. And so to be able to have a program that is more introspective and more intimate, and for me, one of the things that I've always appreciated about radio, I'm a radio nerd, is that radio is a very intimate medium. It's a medium where people get, the announcer gets right up close on the mic, and they talk to you in your ear. You listen to the radio while you're lying in bed at night. Sometimes you listen to the radio when you're alone. You can gather, and then at this point in 1944, people would have been gathering around a radio in a way to connect with other families who would be gathering around radios, or people who would simply be on their own sitting around a radio and sharing an experience. One of the differences for us, of course, is that we won't all be sitting around at the same time listening to this program at the same time. We won't have that same intimacy that comes with that collective shared experience. One of the ways in which our world is different, and the way technology is shaping this. I mean, I don't know whether or not, if Hilary and I had gone to the CBC and said, we've got this great idea, we want to do this as a show. We just didn't think big enough, Hilary. We didn't even think that.
Yeah, we could have thought bigger.
Whether or not that would have even been an option. And then people across the country could have sat and listened to our work. But we wanted to capture that sense of intimacy, and to capture that acknowledgement that everybody's kind of worn out.
Yeah. And that, so we're releasing this in the midst of Advent, which, for in our context is one where the church moves through this progression of hope, love, joy, and peace. Hope, peace, joy, and love. Yeah. And we wanted to acknowledge how threadbare our sense of hope may be at this point, how ground down our sense of joy may be. And there's certainly joy to be found. I'm seeing it in our community every day, but we're tired and we're depleted from the work that these last 2 years have been. And there's a lot to contend with and think through. And we've identified some poetry that just really beautifully and searingly touches on some of those, on that condition. And I'm so excited that we've been able to work together to create that and share it in our community, because hope, feels in short supply at times during this time. So I think that it's important to acknowledge that.
So Hilary, how long is this broadcast?
It'll be about an hour, between 40 minutes and an hour. I know Scott is working on editing it together right now, so news at 11 on how long. But it'll be a manageable length. Certainly the kind of thing that you can either listen, sit down, make your hot chocolate, make your adult beverage, whatever you like, and listen to it while you're writing your Christmas cards or wrapping your presents. Or it could be something that you come back to and treat it kind of in chapters and take in a little bit at a time. We're gonna maybe I'll talk a little bit about how you can listen to this lovely broadcast. We are going to be sharing it in a couple of different ways. We'd like it to be accessible to the community in a couple of different formats. So there's going to be you can listen to it totally virtually whenever you like. Once we have premiered it, am I sharing on the 14th? That's the day that it's going to go live. It'll be on YouTube, and I'm also hoping to organize it that it could be a download if you wanted to really treat it kind of like a podcast and have it on your device and listen in your ears. But we're going to premiere it. We're going to have a YouTube version. It's not a video, it's audio, but it'll be on YouTube, available on YouTube, our YouTube channel. I'll share all the links. as of the 14th, and we'll have a listening party. So if everybody wants to kind of have that feeling of listening together in your own space, you can gather on December 14th at 7. We'll premiere it on YouTube, and we'll have a watch party so you can chat along if you want to kind of comment on what's going on while we're all listening together. And then once it's premiered, it'll just be there. You can take it in at whatever point during your celebration or observance of Christmas. But we also would like to do it in person. We're going to have a live event at Glen Roads United campus on December 19th at 7. That's a Sunday evening. And so if you'd like to take it in live and hear some of the voices who have contributed to the project, you can come on that date and hear it live. So yeah, and we have some just such talented people in our community who have contributed to this. Do you want to talk a little bit about who's involved, Catharine?
We have some wonderful poetry readers. The music is recorded music. It's mostly performances by the East End United Choir that we were prophetic enough to have recorded in past times that we have been able to use again, since we haven't been able to do our usual choir performances this year. And in terms of readers, we have a wide variety of people from our community. The narration is done by Fraser, who is going to be who's a professional actor and is going to give us his best Mid-Atlantic BBC delivery to capture the spirit of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Edith Shand, who is the well-known community performer and wonderful singer, is reading one of the poems.
Yeah.
Sam Mannion, who is a voice that I can listen to forever, a member of our community, is also doing one of the poems. Both Hilary and I are each doing a poem. Okay, so Hilary, you're going to have to help me out here. I'm running out of Nora.
Yeah. Also, Katie Harris, who's a member of our
Yes.
community, also a
Yes.
professional level actress, did a beautiful reading of a Jan Richardson poem, which sort of upends the idea of the Annunciation and considers it from the perspective of Gabriel, the angel. Just such a beautiful reading of that, as well as Nora, who's a young woman in our community who has read a Maya Angelou poem. There's poetry by Brueggemann, W.H. Auden, Henry Reed, who was featured in the original Poets' Christmas in 1944. So a real variety, poems that really speak both to the 20th and 21st century, and music from our own community recorded by our own voices that highlights the themes of those poems. So we couldn't be more excited to share this program with you. There's going to be a number of ways that you can access it. And if you're just joining us, what Catharine and I are talking about is A Poet's Christmas, which is our project that we've been working on together with many members of our community at East End United this year. And we're looking forward to sharing it with you both virtually and in person. Virtually starting December 14th. You can come to the premiere watching listening party and chat along if you want to on December 14th at 7. Then it'll be available anytime you want to listen. And we'll also have an in-person live version on December 19th at 7 at Glen Roads United. So please share with everybody about this event. The Facebook event page for this event is in the details of this video. We're going to be back next Monday to chat a little bit more about the program and the things that we're excited about it. And if you've been attending worship at East End during Advent, you've heard some of the poetry already, and this would be an opportunity to hear about it in more depth. So we hope that you'll join us and engage with A Poet's Christmas over the course of Advent at East End and Christmas, and included in your Christmas celebrations this year. And Catharine, it's been such a pleasure to work on it with you. We haven't really had an opportunity before to do something like this. And I'm so grateful for the conversations we've had, and I'm really proud of the work we've done together on it. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. It's been nothing but a joy. We have been so in sync and very much on the same page about what we're trying to accomplish. And I think it's been a wonderful partnership. So I'm very pleased. I'm looking forward to next week to talking a little bit about how we tried to find the balance between capturing the spirit and paying homage to the 1944 broadcast that inspired all of this, and bringing that into a contemporary context with contemporary voices and contemporary music, but have it still capture that that same kind of feeling, because as we said, the things that people were struggling with in 1944, the specifics of the circumstances were different, but I think we can say that a lot of the feelings and the emotions and the challenges are not that different.
Resonate, unfortunately, quite presently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Catherine. And I'm looking
Thank
forward.
you.
Next week, we're going to come back and do this again. And we're going to chat a little bit more about the content of A Poet's Christmas, and tell you a little bit about what fascinates us about the different poems, and tell you a little bit more about what to expect. So join us next Monday. We're going to be a little earlier. I think we're going to be at more like 11:30 next Monday. But those of you who are listening in, thanks for listening, and get ready for A Poet's Christmas, because we're really looking forward to sharing it with you. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.